Hello, we'll call the meeting to order. I'm just going to do our roll call. Chair Santos. All right. Vice Chair Lewandowski present. Secretary Emily Sowick. Dr. Harden.
Present.
Paul Collins Hackett, also Batman. Victor Pearson. Present. And Malik Dare is excused.
Thank you, John. Welcome everyone to the Monday night, September 29th special meeting for the Albany Community Police Review Board. We're going to go into public comment at this time. Councilman Hoey, I believe you have a public comment?
Good evening. My name is Tom Hoey, and I am the elected Common Council member from the 15th Ward, and I'm also the Public Safety Chair for the Common Council. The Community Police Review Board, CPRB, was created in 2000 by the Common Council to establish a body empowered to independently review the conduct of police officers in an effort to promote accountability and build public trust in law enforcement. Previously, this was restricted to reviewing internal police investigations, and the board's powers were significantly expanded by legislation passed by the Common Council in 2021, which was subsequently approved by the voters. That provided the board with the authority to conduct its own investigations and issue subpoenas. The board has conducted substantial work through its existence, including recommending that the Albany Police Department use body-worn cameras, change use of force and de-escalation policies, and enhance investigation and procedure policies to promote timely investigation and proper evidence handling. I am here tonight to express my concern that the main mission of the CPRB, the timely and independent review of community complaints and alleged police misconduct, is not being fulfilled. I recognize that there is friction due to the transfer of responsibilities from Albany Law School to the Common Council. But this friction is not insurmountable if we remain professional and commit to putting the mission first. We recognize the work that you all do to build community trust and the need to support the board. The additional hours of work you do is why we push for stipends for board members. I just ask that the board consider the fiduciary duties that we have as Common Council members to the City of Albany and to the State of New York. As we continue through this transition of bringing the board into the city and of our own duty to our constituents, when we bring you community concerns, that investigations be conducted efficiently. The establishment and expansion of a program as important as police oversight was not a measure taken lightly by the Council, and it remains a program that we believe is vital to the public safety in our community. Let's get back to work and show the city we can get this done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hoey. There's no additional public comments? Great, thank you. Now we're going to have a reading from the chair. I'd like to read a letter. As chair, I would like to take a moment to clarify the purpose of tonight's meeting. There's been a lot of miscommunication, misinformation circulating, and I want to ensure that everyone understands our intentions tonight. This meeting was called to repair our relationship with the city, which has historically been a collaborative partner of the CPRB. Over the past several months, our relationship has been strained due to the differing interpretations of the governance framework established by Local Law D. While some growing pains are to be expected, we're here tonight to address these issues openly and honestly in a public forum. The city has expressed a desire to collaborate with the CPRB, and we share that goal. However, true collaboration requires transparency and accountability. We have faced several challenges, such as the withholding of GLC transitional materials, the unilateral action on our independent counsel's contract, and the issuance of RFPs without the CPRB's formal authorization. Additionally, the city has not acted upon the resolution passed by the board on July 31st. Collaboration requires both parties to be committed to transparency and accountability. These are the fundamental pillars upon which the board was established, and they are the principles that the CPRB strives to uphold in every aspect of the important mission entrusted to us by the voters. We want the public to know directly that the board has no desire to create unnecessary conflict with the city, but the community deserves a complaint process free from city interference to ensure that we remain an institution of integrity, one that the community can trust to ensure continued faith of the people as an independent oversight agency. I will conclude by reading a statement by former council member and now Assembly member Gabriela Romero regarding recent challenges which were submitted on August 18th by the CPRB to the Common Council. And I'll quote, "Without the autonomy to operate free from political interference, the CPRB risks becoming a hollow institution, unable to deliver on its real and actual mandate to the community. Since unfortunately this statement did not make it into the public record as part of the council's August 18th meeting, Ms. Romero's statement will be submitted in the public record as part of tonight's meeting for public consideration." Now I'd like to continue the meeting, and we'll have Secretary Sowick read, sorry.
All right, so the first thing to address would be the GLC materials. Collaboration does not involve withholding important transition materials from the board for over 9 months, even after the CPRB made explicit requests and we're told there was nothing to provide. And although we've been assured these materials would be provided to us, they still remain solely within the city's possession without explanation. Meeting materials are Goldstein email dated 9/18/25 confirming the withholding issue, and a follow-up email of 9/24/25 of that email from the city stating these materials would be provided. There's a recommendation to put a hard deadline on being provided the hard drive in its original format no later than October 3rd.
So, board members, would you like to discuss what Secretary Sowick just shared?
Yes, Chair Santos. So I just want to be, I have a question just to be clear. The last email that was noted this month so how many times actually was the request made?
So initially, the transitional paperwork was turned over by the GLC in December 2024. It was turned over to the city then. But understand, we did not request the information immediately, okay, until we got involved into the involved in the transition. But on 9/18, we put on paper that we were requiring the information, and then again on the 24th, an additional paper was submitted to the city, and on that paperwork, it indicated that we also wanted a copy, we requested a copy of the hard drive. And what we wanted was documentation to be signed by the city stating that the hard drive that they are turning over to our property contains all the information that was initially given by the GLC, that all the information is included in the hard drive. So it was just an affidavit that we wanted the city to sign regarding the information that was held on the hard drive. So and we haven't heard since then, we haven't heard anything from the city regarding when we could pick up the hard drive, or if anyone would be signing the affidavit.
And who was the request made to?
There were several people listed on the email. I know two right off the bat. One was the program director, Garrett Schaff, and I believe also Robert Wenner, who is the research counsel for Common Council. But there were other CCs on that email.
And why haven't we gotten the GLC? No reason given, or just no answer whatsoever?
So understand, all board members were given access via your computer to the GLC transitional materials, okay? This is a ancillary piece. The hard drive is a separate piece of what we're requesting. So the board members were given access via your computer, okay, to some of the GLC materials. We don't know if it's in totality because we haven't received the hard drive to check, so.
Thank you for clarifying, Chair. I just have one more question, Mr. Winter. I did notice that we got some materials,
Yes.
but those materials didn't include our previous emails. For instance, among other things, that's what we're talking about,
Yes,
that it seems to be selected materials.
yes.
Okay.
Did you have a question? Oh,
If I may for a second?
sure.
I appreciate you recognizing me, Chair
Yes.
Santos.
I'm sorry, I should have said your name.
No, not at all. Robert Wenner, Research
Okay.
Council. I just wanted to clarify, I think that maybe there was something lost in translation here. An email was passed along letting you all know that the hard drive would be made available as of last Wednesday. It's been in the clerk's office since then, waiting for someone to pick it up. We can give that to you tonight. You guys can head out with it.
Will the affidavit that because I didn't receive anything that stated that it was ready, and there's an affidavit that we requested to be signed stating it had all the materials in it? That's what I was kind of waiting for, is the affidavit. Who's going to sign the affidavit, and when is it available?
Right. We can't speak to the affidavit right now. It requested a lot of information outside of just a confirmation as to what was on the hard drive. I'm happy to confirm for you that what is on the hard drive is all of the materials that were received from the GLC and swear to their accuracy and completeness.
Okay, so is anyone going to sign the affidavit that we requested to be signed?
No, the affidavit requested additional information outside of what was contained on the hard drive that no one will be signing to.
Okay.
Do you know what that additional information is? I'm just confused.
Among other things, the affidavit requested signatures from a variety of city employees, including members of IT, people from the GLC, as to a chain of custody, which we're not able to provide, especially as it pertains to the GLC. And there was a request for some factual recountings as to information about the hard drive that no one here is in any position to provide. What we can tell you is that the GLC provided the hard drive. It was kept with IT until it was requested, at which point we started trying to chase down any data security concerns we might have in case there were confidential information on it. Once we chased that down, IT made a copy of all of the information, put it on a hard drive. It's been available for pickup. since
Mr.
last
Winter, was there a chain of command from the IT to who it was served to here in the city? Was there ever a chain of custody, or are you just saying it was just handed over? Because I know when the GLC handed it over from Chelt Miller, she signed off stating who she handed it to. Did any of that happen here, what you're explaining, or is it just hearsay?
I'm not prepared to speak to any of that tonight. I haven't seen
Okay.
that document from Shell Miller. If you can put that in my hands, I'd be happy to take a look at it and get back to you on that in the future.
Chair Santos or Vice Chair Lewandowski, if I've spoken out of turn, can you clarify in terms of the can you hear me?
No.
Sorry about that. Have I spoken out of turn about the chain of custody from
No.
GLC to the city?
No.
Okay.
I just want to make one point of clarification. When we asked for the hard drive, we asked for the original hard drive provided from the GLC, not a copy. So I'm not sure if a copy was mentioned during this conversation, but we requested the original hard drive, not a copy of the hard drive. So I'll just leave that on the table. That's what we requested, okay?
I want to
And
provide some.
lastly, Chair Santos, for the community's understanding, can you or anyone from the executive team speak to the importance of that drive and to some of the materials that are vital for what we need?
Member Harden, I first want to clarify, you made a remark about the emails. Are you referring to the emails on the Albany CPRB domain that was deactivated last month?
Yeah, we'll come
Okay,
back to
those
that.
emails are within the
Wait,
OneDrive link
wait,
that was shared with
wait.
you, and they are clearly labeled.
Wait. Were you finished?
Thank you. I'll follow up then, because Sue, when I got on there and clicked on it, there was nothing there. So are you saying that IT should be the person we reach out to? That
Within the OneDrive link that was shared, the very top folder is labeled at albanycprb.org. Within that folder, it's a zip folder, so you will physically have to download it to your computer. You will have to extract the data from that folder, and there is a file with each individual user's name that is what IT has told me is the archive of those emails that they provided to me, which I uploaded to that drive.
So let me just ask a question. Were those instructions given to the CPRB when you issued us the email? Because I do not remember being given those. The instructions you just described.
When I provided the instructions to you,
Yes.
I told you you were able to download the materials, but you were not able to modify or edit them. So downloading that folder would be part of the instructions that I provided,
Was
yes.
this specifically, those .org emails, were they
I
specifically
did not,
cited?
no ma'am, I did not give you step-by-step instructions on how to navigate OneDrive.
So, no, I appreciate the clarification. I will check that tonight and stand corrected if I'm wrong. Thank you.
So I'm gonna, at this point, table this discussion right now. We're gonna have our independent counsel. Oh, I'm sorry, you wanna come in? I'm sorry. Yes, I'm so sorry.
And I just want to reiterate, part of the importance of the hard drive and specifically these documents, to follow up with what you were saying, was there are materials related to active cases that we have and that are against the city. So city entities having materials that are privileged to us and our council with regards to active litigation is a concern, and we want to make sure that we have everything in hand and we are afforded the right of, attorney-client privilege with regards to the many emails and documentations and files that we have related to ongoing litigation. So that's kind of the major thing with regards to securing the hard drive and the materials on it. And with regards to the emails, I've opened my emails. I haven't checked through them. The old emails I was able to download. I haven't checked through them yet, but I was able to do it. I believe other members had issue with the download, so there might be an issue I have to talk to IT about. But that's available. But the pressing matter isn't necessarily having those your individual emails. It's making sure that the materials that are pertinent to active litigation are secured between the body of the board and our counsel that are lawyering on our behalf.
Thanks, John, for clarification. I use the emails as an example, but it's not an exhaustive list of when I went in there. So I will go back again, and should I have issue, I'll follow up with IT. So I appreciate that.
So at this point, I am, because there's a question on having the original hard drive or having the affidavit saying the information that's transferred onto this ancillary hard drive is all the correct information. So I'm going to refer this to independent counsel to speak with Mr. Winter directly, and we'll let them settle that, okay? As far as the information, how we receive it and where it goes from there, okay? Is that all right? Okay, that's how we'll deal with that. So, okay, you can read number 2. Thank you, everybody.
Number 2 regards independent counsel. Collaboration does not look like rescinding our independent counsel's contract on the last day without CPRB input following a public renewal vote at our April 10th meeting, which was streamed on the city's website. It does not involve drafting a modified agreement for CPRB counsel without CPRB input or involvement in the drafting of the process or issuing RFPs prior to formal authorization by CPRB following a vote in public session. The board desires to participate in mediation through mutually agreeable parties for resolution instead of more litigation. The key piece for the CPRB in this process is drafting an agreement that respects the governance framework and operational autonomy granted by Albany voters under Proposition 7. The revised agreement proposed by the city is legally and ethically problematic because it places control over CPRB's independent counsel in the hands of city officials, despite CPRB being the client and the city a party opponent in active litigation. Scope provisions allowing the city to define, direct, or constrain counsel's work violate the professional conduct rules, undermine CPRB's litigation posture, and contradict the statutory autonomy granted by Albany voters under Proposition 7. Any provision which subordinates the CPRB's legal representation to city oversight compromises both the integrity of the attorney-client relationship and the operational independence mandated by law.
So, further discussion regarding independent counsel. Does anybody have any questions on where we stand right now with independent counsel?
I just want to say, for independence and autonomy, independent counsel is imperative. Looking at our history since I've been on the board, the victories we've had, didn't just occur once legislation was passed or referendums were voted. It was what was fought for in legal cases to clarify the law. With regards to independent counsel, having lawyers that are responsible to us is much different than having a lawyer that is an entity of the city that, at the end of the day, we're a group of citizens where we don't really have power. Having someone that, when we have an issue, can advocate for us in an independent way that is isolated from the city administration is imperative for us to be fully independent, and also for our credibility. If we get an answer from a city lawyer, and it's nothing against any of the city lawyers, they're lovely people, but at the end of the day, our credibility is always going to be held in question because who's making that decision? With independent counsel that's actually independent and is answerable to us, as we are answerable to people, that is an imperative. Also, the manner by which counsel was trying to be taken from us, there wasn't any kind of heads up. We had an order signed by the mayor allowing this. If you look back at our history with regards to the reason we had independent lawyer, and we've even had the law school dean at the time write letters saying how this was imperative for the legitimacy and for the actual operation for us to do. And if you look back at the history of what we were able to gain with regards to interviewing officers, actually having investigations that are independent, getting materials that we would not have gotten in any other way without having independent counsel. Moving forward, independent counsel is imperative. And going back to people saying with the RFPs, in other structures like the county or the state, if there was ongoing litigation, there should be an emergency order allowing them to continue as counsel, and that's not trying to rehash an RFP, which would completely renegotiate our terms with regards to our independent counsel. Would not be an appropriate way to go, and that wasn't something that was afforded us. That's one of the reasons we're here today. But independent counsel is key to us being independent, autonomous, transparent, and credible.
Thank you, John. Paul?
Yeah, the nature of our board duties brings us into conflict with city employees. That's just the nature of the work. Having lawyers in common doesn't work. We tried that before, and when there's a conflict of interest, it makes situations problematic and things get weird. In the past, we had our counsel who was from the city of Albany. We asked a question, he told us to Google it. That's a problem when your lawyer tells you to Google things and doesn't seem to have your best interest in mind. So for that reason, in the interest of efficiency, transparency, true oversight, we need independent counsel, and going back and forth about it is stupid. The idea should be, how do we get this done? What does it take to happen? How do we move forward? The back and forth, and take your lawyers, now they're back. No, this is dumb, bro. I'm really frustrated with that. And when Common Council and all of us are working together, this situation and this problem should be resolved relatively quickly. So it's frustrating to me that we have to keep explaining the need of why we need independent counsel. This is ridiculous. I'd rather just move forward to a solution, and I'm open to what that looks like.
Thank you, Paul. Anyone else? So I just want to reiterate the fact that our independent counsel is so important right now, as they've been working for the past 3 years on litigation that has to, is against the city. We're involved in active litigation right now that is so important to the autonomy and the independence of the CPRB. It's, I don't understand in what world that you can say, well, don't worry about the last 3 years. We'll pass that information on to a new lawyer so they can restart the litigation process all over. It just doesn't occur like that. So I do have I'd like to make a motion right now, okay? I'd like to make a motion to reaffirm the board's will to retain Kevin Canizaro and Michael Goldstein on all matters to ensure that there is no ambiguity on this topic. It is not a concession that prior renewal was invalid, but rather to reaffirm our desire to keep our current counsel so that an RFP is not issued until we formally authorize via public vote consistent with our bylaws.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, that was unanimous. Okay. We will now move a motion, we will now move a motion to enter into executive session regarding the employment history of a particular individual and potential litigation matters for the future. We'd like to discuss a notice of claim and answer any questions that any members may have. But first, we're going to go into executive session. So, Garrett? Oh, yes, sorry. I told you I always forget that. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session. Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay. Garrett, we'd like to go into executive session. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. Okay, Garrett, we're good? Okay, thank you. I'm gonna make a motion to close executive session and enter back into regular session.
Second.
Can I, everybody in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. So I want to make a vote to authorize the serving of a notice of claim to the city if the process of mediation does not resolve the problems. And I want to preface it to the city by stating that the CPRB does not want to submit this notice of claim. And we know that the cutoff date for the notice of claim would be October 17th, which is coming up fast, and it's literally 2.5 weeks away from right now. So if we are to go into the mediation process, the CPRB is hoping that we can make full-out attempts at starting this mediation process sooner rather than later, because this litigation is a last resort action that we don't want to have to submit. Also, regarding the notice of claim, it has a 6-year statute of limitations. Let me just end it by stating that I'm hoping that we could go into mediation before any additional paperwork gets processed. It's so important to us.
Again, this is an absolute last resort, but with the time constraint with regards to when it could get filed, I think it'd be necessary just so everyone has a full picture of what's going on, and we could work to an end. But between now and the 18th, 17th, I would definitely I think we speak for everyone where we prefer mediation and sitting down and adjusting this. But I feel that with the time constraint, we do need to vote on this. So if that does not happen within the 2-week period, we are covered, and we're doing our due diligence by protecting the board. So, do you want to?
I make a motion that we approve to authorize the serving of a notice of claim to the city if the mediation, no, sorry, I should not have said if. Make a motion that we approve the authorization of serving a notice of claim. But as I stated before, we're hoping that the mediation process goes forth before, is that right? Yeah, before we would even submit that. Is that clear?
Just a clarifying.
Did I not? Yeah, I'm
Well,
not clear, right?
just a clarifying question. What parties exactly would be present for the mediation, just for clarities?
CPRB, oh, go ahead.
I think if we reach out, and I wouldn't want to talk about that necessarily right now with regards to that, but if you want to send an email and this evening, and we'll make sure tomorrow have a list of a way to, hopefully we could sit down and resolve this with all the parties that we wish to be there. But I would like to not talk about, go on that note just now in a public meeting setting. I don't think it would be appropriate necessarily. But again, that's the option that we would want the most. But at this juncture, just to, with our deadline, we would, the motion stands for what's the name? Submitting the, can you read out this, the top, the name of it? I always get it wrong. Thank you. I didn't say it. So the motion stands for serving motion claim. Do we have a second for the motion?
Second.
All right, Dr. V, second.
Aye.
All right, unanimous.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn today's meeting. Can I have a
Second.
second? Dr. V?
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Meeting is adjourned.